Well, hello everybody, and fixing my phone here so that we're not walkie jawed. And as we get started, I got an email from Jersey down in Baja, Mexico, and saying she was going to be on live. So I just wanted to do a quick shout out to say hi, and I know you're going to be watching this later on. So we'll give just a couple of minutes for people to jump on the Facebook Live today. And I'm going to be doing something that is really cool. Hey, John, boy, it's been a long time. How you doing, dude? The calls or the Facebook Lives that I've been doing have been around a lot of the psychological and, how do we position ourselves for business success relationships. And so what we're going to be doing today is still around the, how to position that, but also the tactical side of really how to say and do the things that are going to draw in the individuals that we want in our businesses, in our relationships, whatever that product or service is. And John, and everyone else, hey, Mike, thanks for joining. As you guys are coming onto the call, would you just do a shout out hi and say where you're watching from? That way we're really giving everyone on the call that connection so that you can reach out to each other later on as well. So anyway, the topic today is how to be a magnet to your perfect client. And that is supposing something that you know what that perfect client looks like. And so in the early days of my career, the perfect client definition was frankly whoever could fog a mirror. Whoever that individual was that, I had that potential of saying yes, no matter if it was technically a good fit or not. And so what I wanted to do is to give you the 3 keys that I think are really important for us to position ourselves to be in that place where people can actually be drawn to us. So the first key is knowing yourself. So again, that kind of that mental state where we come from. But knowing yourself is who do we like to deal with? What type of industries? What type of personalities? What are the elements when, and this is how I describe it for myself, when one of my clients calls me on my phone and their number comes up and I see who it is, I don't want to say, oh golly, there they are again. I want to say, oh man, there's Mike, there's Rochelle, there's who? Hey Rochelle, thanks for joining, you just popped up. But when we see that, we want to have that feeling of expectation. Hey, Jeff, thanks for joining. And again, everybody, as you're coming onto the call, if you would just check in and say hi, and then also say where you're watching from. We're doing some really neat things about cross connection here with everyone that is becoming part of the community here. But anyway, it's really knowing yourself to the point of, the people that you like to deal with. Because it's as important for you to enjoy the connections as it is other people, that we deal with that enjoy having us around. So having that industry could be their style of how do they communicate along with, maybe even the cadence of their voice. If we are dealing with someone that is on the East Coast, for example, is that East Coast individuals have a tendency to speak much quicker than those in the Midwest or in the West. That could become a challenge if you're not able to keep up with them in the communication. So that's the first key, is really knowing yourself. And at the end of today, I'm going to be talking about how to, in the action steps, how to uncover these things. And so the second key is knowing your benefit. And it's not what you do or how you do it, but what are the pain points that you solve directly, and being very specific of the things that you bring to the table that someone would want as a solution for themselves. And so let me give you an example. For me, a lot of my messaging is around attracting and receiving more money, and also having more time off. And so as you read my blogs, my articles, my speeches, even in the Facebook here, it's about those 2 things. I use different words, but the pain points are individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs they're not receiving enough compensation, and then when they do, they don't have the time to enjoy it. So how do you measure and then marry those two concepts? And so my whole concept of how I showcase who I am is around those two real broad basic terms or areas. Hey, KZ. And so what I am looking at is how can I showcase that in a way that my perfect client goes, oh, that's where I'm hurting. I could have all these other things going on, but I need to solve that pain point. So that's the second key. The third key is know who your client is. What is that client that is, what are their benefits? What are the things that they want? So what is their personality? Here's a big one, is that some of us, hey, Greg, how are you doing? We have the ability to, what I call become the chameleon. So I don't have to change who I am to be able to communicate and engage with a person that has a different personality. Now, my personality has that driver expressive. Now, if I'm dealing with someone that is more of the analytical or, hey, Siri, how you doing? The of a different personality, if I was to relate to someone of an analytical persuasion, hey, Lauren, thanks for joining. And as an expressive, they could see or maybe think that I wasn't solid enough or that I wasn't deep enough. So we do have that ability to adjust. But if we don't want to, that would be someone that would just not be a right fit for us. So understanding who our client is, that perfect client, their attributes, is going to be really important. It could be their gender. You may like dealing with men more than women or women more than with men. And that doesn't mean that a woman in the female market or men in the male market. A lot of times it's crossover. With Tanya Waring and I in our 100K Impact Coaching Certification Program, in my individual practice, I deal a lot more with women. In her practice, she deals a lot more with men, but together we have that total ability to cross over as well. So looking at the industries, what are the things that if I'm dealing with someone that is an engineer, most of the time that's probably not a real good fit for me, but I could refer that person on. So the way I look at how to really determine what the elements of a perfect client are would be like if you're going out and trying on a pair of shoes, and it's a great pair of shoes, a pair of boots, but they're just the wrong size. It doesn't mean that you're wrong or they're wrong or bad. It just means it doesn't fit. And so we can facilitate them onto another resource. And I do a lot of that to where if I feel like I'm not the right fit, I will facilitate that individual onto someone else. And so they don't feel like I'm rejecting them either. So what I want to do is, give you an action step or a challenge today. Hey, Derek, how you doing? And by the way, as you guys are joining, just reach out and say hi and say where you're watching from. It's attracting or crafting your words to attract that perfect client. So in the action steps, I would like you to take some time and pull out a piece of paper. Hey, Rhonda, Derek, thank you for joining. And pull out a piece of paper and write down the elements of all three areas here, all three keys. You know, what do you like? What do you look for? What do you enjoy in working with individuals, the type of personalities, the industry? What are the things that you would look for? So here's one of my things as far as I look for as well, is the connection, the communication on that area. If I reach out, they reach back. When I ask for information, they give it to me. So we have this flow of information, this connection, and that's something that's real important for me with a part of what makes a perfect client for me. And then knowing your client or knowing your benefit. What are all the walk-away pain point benefits do you give the individuals that connect with you? So it's not, again, I'll use Don. He has a really neat product, a ladder that has safety. So a ladder is a ladder. You climb up, you get to a certain place, and, it's very functional. But the pain point is not breaking a bone, not being in the hospital, not being out of work, being safe. And so it's something that we position, hey, Shelley, we position it as a solution to a pain point, not the functionality of what we do with our product or service. And then the third thing is the elements of what we would look for in the personality of our clients, the type of industry, the gender, whatever it may be. But what I'd like you to do is really focus in specifically as possible and in each of these three areas. Then I'm going to ask you to do one more thing. I'm going to ask you to write out maybe an article, maybe a blog. It could be a little bit of or it could be a product offering. But using the words in all of these areas, and if you would like, and this is something I'm just doing, I had not thought about this until just this moment. If you would like to send that to me, I would be happy to look at it and send it back to you, and that would be free. I'm just going to do that as a give back. And you could do that at GaryBurnsInternational.com, and it's at the bottom of the on the post as well. So if you'd like to do that, but I'd like to see you take this information, and my challenge to you is just not take it in, but let's start using it. Let's start crafting our words so our perfect client says, oh golly, that's exactly what I want. Because a lot of times, again, we will say and craft our words around what they need. People don't engage normally with what they need, but they will for what they want. And if they're having a pain point, something that is really disturbing them, and they see that we're at least a possible solution, they will be drawn to us instead of us chasing them. One last thing is, about a week and a half ago, I talked about starting a virtual mastermind, and I am going to be doing that in September. We had a couple of people reach out and do the inquiry around that. We'll get all the information out next week. But if you have an interest in joining a virtual mastermind with me, where I'm the facilitator, would you just email me at GaryBurnsInternational.com. I'll get a hold of you. And we need I'm going to cap the group at 6. So it's going to be a very small group. And I'll give you all the information. We've got, I believe, 4 spots open. So, and we need 4 to really do the group. We're going to cap it at 6, so that 4 to 6 level. So if you have an interest, just reach out to me at GaryBurnsInternational.com. It's a beautiful day here. I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. We'll see you again Monday at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. And share this if you would. Let's build this community. And I'll be talking more about this, I believe, on Monday. I've been kicking around. I almost did it today. After Wednesday's Facebook Live, that evening I got an email from someone that said it made a huge difference where they were. They needed it right then. And so we're going to be talking about how to showcase ourselves and doing it to where at times we don't know the impact that we're having, but the impact is very much there. So we're going to be positioning that as well. Well, have a great day, and thank you again for coming on, staying on, being with me for all of these Facebook Lives, and we'll talk to you Monday at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. Have a great one. Thanks. Bye-bye.